Alright. Hello, my name is Dylan Briggs.
And my name is Young Kim.
And I'm Joseph Bolishevsky.
And I'm Heidi Derby, and we're going to be discussing the physics behind MRI.
This relatively new technology was founded in the year 1946 by Felix Bloch and Edward Purcell. Up until recently, MRIs were only used for chemical and physical analysis. It wasn't until 1977 that scientists began to develop MRIs into the technology we know today. It is important to understand MRIs because they are now used in many hospitals and facilities all over the world. Medical research is able to be done through 3D imaging, allowing doctors to visually analyze a patient's internal injuries without performing surgeries.
We visited Mercy Gilbert Medical Center. We were able to interview MRI tech Gary Saldwich. He was very helpful in explaining the MRI's function and how it works. We were able to go see an MRI machine and its control room.
I can give you a few minutes here. I'm trying to make it really good. Have you ever had an MRI before?
Yeah, I had one.
They kind of old virtual these days, so we'll try to make it better. This is Roy. He's the other MRI tech. First off, I'm going to show you the machine. All right. Everybody can come up to the door of the window. Nobody walks through the door. All right. Everyone's kind of, I guess, to the threshold. Basically, we have a Siemens magnet. That's 1.5 Tesla. That's pretty strong. There actually are 3 Tesla magnets out there now that do imaging. The big difference is the stronger the magnet, the faster the picture, the stronger the signal, so the better the picture. So it kind of saves you time and gives you a little better resolution on the images. So whatever part we do, we have a camera for, or I call them a camera. They're actually called coils. They're like receivers.
In an MRI machine, there is a magnet, a gradient coil, a radio frequency coil, and a receiver. In the machine, the magnets cause the water molecules in the patient's body to be polarized. This then causes them to vibrate at a certain frequency. This concept originated from the equations that were formulated by Joseph Larmor. He discovered that strength of the magnetic field is proportional to the angular frequency of precession. This means that the stronger the magnetic field, the higher the frequency is.
This is called our head coil, basically. So what it is the receiver. Put the patient's head in there, and we do the imaging. Basically, what we're doing is we're taking the protons when you go into the magnet. They turn in north-south direction, or to make it easier, we'll say point up. All right. We apply radio frequencies. What it does, it makes that proton oscillate in a different direction. It makes them spin differently, and there's little breaks between our knobs, which lets that proton kind of start going back towards its normal area or its north-south axis. And as it does that, it gives off an energy, basically.
The Larmor frequency can be explained through a simple use of a top. As you can see, the top wobbles at a certain frequency when it is spun. This frequency is called the Larmor frequency. How high the Larmor frequency or the speed it wobbles is determined by how powerful the magnetic field is that surrounds the top.
So basically, everything we do is based off of water, since the body is mainly made up of 90% water or more. So the one thing we really don't look at in MRI is the lungs, because there's no water in the lungs, it's all air, so we're not able to visualize anything within the lung itself. But we can actually visualize any other part of the body that you can name, from toes to breast to head to fingers, you name it, we can image it somewhere or another, heart.
In the MRI machine, the gradient coil is used to vibrate the water molecules at a slightly different Larmor frequency so that each individual part of the body can be identified when using the MRI machine. This is what makes the image possible.
Okay. Alright, well, it's kind of thinking of like a car dealership. We'll put this down there. You can go to the car dealership, you can buy a very nice car for cheap, without any options, okay?
Yeah.
This machine right here is probably about $2 million just for the machine. Alright. or the actual structure around it is actually, if you look at over far end there, you see a big copper door on the wall. Our whole area needs to be lined with ceiling structure around it. Probably another couple million by the time you talk the copper and all the work that's going to it, and all the metals and stuff that has to be put in there. Yeah, probably if the structure was already here, if the building or that room was here, probably about $4 million to get that thing up and going.
Bring the power into it. Is it the roof up there? Is that up on the roof? Is that how the power gets into it?
Actually, there's power cords that go through them. There's some that to the floor, but yeah, basically there's actually a vent up there too. The magnet is a superconductor. It's got about 400,000 volts going through it. So it's actually cooled with liquid helium. So as you guys know, liquid helium is colder than liquid nitrogen, basically. So if for some reason we had to shut the magnet down in a hurry, there's not just a switch that you flip and then turn it right back on. The magnet's always on. Only way you can actually shut the magnet down is to jettison the liquid helium, then power it down. Which, if you want to power back up, takes probably a good 3 days because you have to refill it with liquid helium. You have to do it at a slow pace so they don't crack the magnet.
Is the sound that emits from the machine, is that the radio frequency?
It's RF signal, yep. So there's different ways. We apply radio frequencies, and we also apply gradient echoes. It's just a different way of making different sounds. Look for different pathologies. Go ahead and down here. How about every type of pathology we look for has a different sound to it. There's bigger spaces between the middle. Sometimes we look at protons like 90 degrees and flip it another 90 degrees. And we don't want to get all the way back up to its north-south axis, giving off different types of energy, basically, or where the cameras are coils treat. I please call them cameras just because patients don't understand coils when I say coils either. And I guess for every part of the body we image, we have different cameras for it. Like over on the counter over there, there's one that looks like a big collar. That's one that we use on the spine or net. The one that's leaning up against the anesthesia cart, there is a spine coil. So if you're laying on that, the coils are actually built into the actual structure. We have one for breast, basically the patient's laying on it. So the coil is actually built so when the woman's laying down, the breast is just suspended through to receive the signal.
The swing is a great example of how the water molecules flip. Energy is pushed into the molecules, making them vibrate more and more. Eventually, the molecules will flip just like the swing will make a full loop if you push it at the right intervals or frequency.
You're doing a wonderful job.
This bridge is experiencing similar vibrations to the MRI and the swing because of an earthquake. Since it is connected to the ground and can't go anywhere, it will eventually collapse instead of flipping around like the water molecules.
Go for a road trip. Alright, I don't know if you want to send for that lady. That's yellow. The screen phone and everything's there. It's all good except for some kids. This is pretty dang cold too. All electrical equipment's got to stay cold.
Wow, it's cool.
Big cable. You want to see big cable? Here's the big cable.
Wow.
So yeah, basically between each door there's different amplifiers, stuff like that. These are the gradient echoes. These actually hook up to the actual machine. When we apply the gradient, we can do it from 3 different angles. We can do it right to left, or what you consider the x-axis, the y-axis from top to bottom, and then the z-axis, so from one end of the magnet to the other. When we apply it in different directions, we get our images in different directions, basically. So these are the ones that actually are controlling the gradient pulses. So there's 1 3.
I had no idea.
It's coming out. That's basically the brains behind it right there.
That's all the...
different amplifiers, different circuits that adjust the frequencies. Like whenever a magnet is installed into a room, there's inherent instability of the magnet, or where the magnet's just not pure the whole way through. So what they can do is they can actually adjust each part of the magnet so it's like more even throughout.
Less resistance?
Yeah. So basically the magnet itself is called a 1.5 Tesla. Basically that means in the very center of the magnet it's 1.5. If you go a little bit towards your head, it's 1.50001. A little bit further, it's 1.50002. What it does is that we need that difference because that helps us make our images. Because if everything was 1.5, we wouldn't be able to get it. And then again, if we go towards the foot end, it'd be 1.49999.
So you need those three gradients so you can
we can do pictures and all that. So, and again, we just don't do. We're able to angle on our images and adjust those gradients so we can actually, if somebody's in there crooked, we can actually make it look like they're straight when we do our picture. So we can adjust, some of the pulses so we go over. And then again, this is, right behind this wall is the actual magnet again.
So that's the copper wall right there? That's part of that?
And if we had anything into the room, like if we want a line in there for something else, for a monitor or whatever, they have to actually, it's called a filter. I don't think they're all covered by the box, but basically it's called a filter where the cord has to go through, and it's basically sealed as tight as possible. Because not only do you want to keep the RF signals out of the room, because say you got a little pinhole in your actual copper somewhere. If somebody were like cleaning the floor on the other side of the wall with one of those big power things, it would send off enough frequency to go to the little pinhole. We get little dots on our images.
Oh, so it wouldn't come all the way through because.
It's the pinhole. I've actually worked at a place that had 2 magnets.
One major question: how do you prepare your patients? I know you give them earphones.
We get the headphones. Not through the headphones. 2 options. Some people don't like the headphones on. So we get earplugs or headphones. So they can listen to music. There's no metal parts to the headphones, so it's just tubed in by a plastic tube and an amplifier that's sitting outside the actual magnet itself. So it's very poor quality, but it's hydrogen tanks if you want to take any hydrogen home with you. So if it gets low, we can refill it. Otherwise, the other hydrogen has to be shipped from California. They come in big, huge containers.
That's the temperature of your room?
5 degrees. Up there, it's supposed to be around 50 degrees or so. Yep. Yeah, we try to keep everything cold. Electricity works best when it's cold. That's the easy thing. So, again, everything that we got going on, we have an air compressor. So it helps circulate the water, give a little extra pressure.
All right.
It's a cold room, a lot of stuff to move.
All right.
Anything else, guys?
I think that's it.
I hate to rush through.
It's fine.
All right. Well, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Any questions, give me a call.
All right.
And, that's all I know.
All right. Thanks.
I probably know a little bit.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right.
And I'll get you guys all pointing in the same direction here.
All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Straight ahead.